Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today's story is about injustice, and it's a story from Burma, or Myanmar as it's called these days. It's called The Skylark's Revenge, and it goes like this. Once upon a time, when the Buddha was still roaming this earth, there was a little skylark who was making her nest, and she lived in the bush. And she, a skylark is just a little sort of brown bird, a little bigger than a sparrow. And she was making her nest, in the high grasses, and making sure that the best leaves were used to make the nest. And then very carefully she laid one egg after the other, and she used her feathers also when she was even in the sweltering heat. She used her feathers to separate the eggs so that they all would be hatched out good. And actually soon it would be hatching time, and she was excited about that. And still, she had laid awake at night because she heard a thunder in the, very far away. And sure enough, she kept looking, and then she saw a cloud of dust being gathered at the horizon. And she thought and said, it can only be a herd of elephants that make such a dust of cloud of dust. And they were heading straight for her nest. And so she looked at a place where she could sort of face the elephants, and she found a spot, a tree. And as the first elephants became visible through the cloud, she took up her place there very bravely, and she spoke to the leader of the elephants, and she said, "Great leader, please listen to me. I'm hatching my babies, and please, if you just go straight, you will trample everything. If you go around, you will be saving that life." And the great big elephant was very surprised to see such a brave little skylark, in his way and daring to talk to him. But he listened, and he said, "Okay, sure. I will move around, and we'll make a big circle around your nest." And as he was going by, he says, "But only the last elephant in my herd is a bit of a wild, uncontrollable animal. So what I say is I do not make any guarantees for him." And everybody followed him, the great leader, and they made sure that they did not disturb the nest of the skylark at all. And then the last elephant came. And as the leader had said, he is a very mad, unruly animal. And he says, "What's this little bird doing here? What's this? I'm just going to go in my way." And as he went on, he went straight away, and he actually even made sure he trampled on her and trampled on her nest. And also he made his way through the same, and he made sure he stepped on as many nests as possible. He was really horrible. The poor mother skylark was, totally upset, grief-stricken. But that grief turned into anger, and that anger turned into a sort of a lust to revenge. And she swore an oath, and he says, "You will pay for this, you mad elephant." And the elephant sort of laughed and said, "Even if you get all the skylarks from the whole world against me, I've got thick skin. You won't be able to do anything." And he went on his way, and the skylark said, "Okay, if I want to beat this guy, I want to do something, I need to gather all my friends. I need to have a good strategy." So she gathered all her friends from the bush and all the birds, and when she told the story, they all agreed that needed some sort of a revenge, some sort of reaction. So they agreed that the first thing what would be done is by the crow. The crow would go on the head of the elephant and has a very sharp beak and actually pick out his eyes, so he would be blind. Then the flies would come in and put their larvae into the eyes, and so they would rot and putrefy, and the animal would get fever and the animal would get thirsty. And then the last step was that the frog would start to croak, because the animal would be thirsty, and the frog would actually be croaking, leading the animal to some place where he thought there was water. And this is just really exactly how it happened. So at the last step, when the animal was really thirsty, he heard this frog croak and he thought, oh, there must be water. And then all of a sudden, it became silent, because the frog had hopped aside and didn't make a sound anymore. And the elephant wasn't quite sure, but was blinded, so he made a step forward and he fell into an abyss, the end of the elephant. The leader and all the other elephants had sort of watched this whole thing from a distance, and the leader said, let this be a lesson for us to respect all forms of life, no matter how small they are. Why am I telling you this story? Because for me, given today's situation in the world, the skylark is like Ukraine, and the wild elephant is like Putin or Russia, if you wish. It may take many years, but justice eventually will come. Thank you.